What is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining us today as we continue this 4-week series where we get these beautiful insights from the masculine embodiment. So, here today we have Dell Henderson, who is the True Essence Connector, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Man, I was like, let me get this belt on here because the belt has a logo on it and stuff like that. So I was thinking, like, should I wear the belt? Yeah, I'll do
I love
it.
when you bring the belt on. I think it's great. So Del, go ahead and start telling people about you. Who are you? What's your story? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. So who I am is I am a being of love. I am a being of infinite potential. I am that I am. I am love. And obviously my love and creativity, and that's another one. I am infinite creation. And creations flow through me in the way of being a true essence connector. And pretty much what that is being able to help people to connect to who they truly are when they're willing to no longer be at conflict with themselves, no longer be at war with their beliefs, war with their thoughts, but really be able to see who you really are by dropping illusions. I believe that we all are true essence connectors. We all have that abilities to connect to people's soul on a soul level. And I'm just helping people to remember that. That's part of my journey. And the way I was able to get there is have my own journey like everyone else. We have our own unique stories that got us to who we are in this present moment. And me, it was all different conditionings, beliefs that I had about myself. Some of them was just put onto me from other people who thought it was the best conditioning for me to take on, whether it was a conditioning from my parents, whether it was conditioning from relationship experiences, and also just my beliefs too. I am the baby of the family, so I had the baby love, but then also I had beliefs of everything was mine. And when I had my way, I would have temper tantrums, but that played a role in my life. And also just my experiences in school. I mean, I had good experiences with school and had not so good experiences in school. Being made fun of, but also I can admit that had made fun of others as well. And also just being different, being told I was different. And I didn't want to be different at that time. I wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to feel cool. I wanted to be part of the group, as you would say. And by me doing that, I would sacrifice who I really was to be something that truly down I really wasn't for the sake of trying to get that approval and the coolness. And also, it left a pretty interesting journey, like I was mentioning, relationship side of things, being very controlling, had parts in me that you could consider narcissistic tendencies, being manipulative, being insecure within myself because I wasn't secure in myself. I was trying to be all these different things that I didn't want to be. And the insecurity showed up in relationships, being controlling, being too demanding, wanting things to happen my way. Also, that baby nature in me that was being overly controlling for me to get my way. And if I get my way, I would throw a temper tantrum in my all different ways. And it took me this moment of a breakup with my now wife that this was the very first time in all my experiences with relationships that I decided to question how did I show up in the relationships. Before, when it ended, it's over. I'm just gonna go on. I'm gonna do all these other things to distract myself, as you would say. I'm gonna go to one relationship to another relationship and not really do the healing work. But in this one instance of the breakup that I had with my wife at that time, I took a look at myself. I asked myself the question, how have I shown up in this relationship that the other person may be perceiving me as? I, as I'm saying the question, it just didn't sound like a normal question to ask. But for some reason, when I asked that, it just opened me up to a new possibility to reflect, a new thing to take a look at myself, a new way of me just exploring life. And usually, what I would do if a breakup happens is I would try to do everything possible to try to make the relationship come back together. Felt like I was wrong, so I got to make things right. And the universe is funny with the way that it worked for this time, because with me having that same type of beliefs and those patterns going on, I decided to have an experience with plant medicine. And there was no way I would have done that. Like I was mentioning, I was raised in religion. I was raised in the Christian beliefs and stuff like that. And like these type of things was shunned upon. I was thinking about this one time because Kai, she was on the spiritual nature of things. She had a skull crystal, a clear crystal. And this is when I wasn't like open to the spiritual nature of stuff. But my son saw this crystal and he was like, "Oh, that's cool. Let me go for that." And for me, my beliefs, I'm thinking like he's gonna open up the floodgates of hell and like devil and stuff. So I was like, "Jaden, don't touch it! Don't touch it! Don't touch it! Don't touch it!" So I was heavy on that side of things, and I was conditioned that way, and I accepted that part of me for it. But that plant medicine journey that I did for the first time as a way of trying to win back my partner opened me up on a whole nother level that I never been in before. I was just in this space of connectedness. I was in this space of oneness. My identity that I had of myself just dropped. The beliefs that I had with myself just dropped. And I was just in this place of peace, this place of happiness. And I'm like, wow, this is a great experience. And for me, when I have a great experience with something, I want to continue that great experience. I want to keep doing it. And that's what I did with the plant medicine. And I just kept doing it because I want to get back in this place. I want to get back in this place of peace and happiness and joy and play and bliss land. And I kept doing it and I kept doing it and I kept doing it. And I did it at the detriment of me starting to want to escape my reality. At that time, I was in sales. I had a sales position. I had a great sales position as well. But that couple experiences with the plant medicine opened my mind up to shift the reason why I was doing these things. With the sales position, I was very money driven. I made good money. I was making really great money. But then this part of me started to shift in which I just wanted to find this bliss again. I wanted to find this peace again. Like I mentioned, I kept doing psychedelics. I left the corporate job. I left that stuff. And I just kept doing psychedelics. But then it just came to this point, and it reminded me of my other experiences with things. Like I like to try things out and keep trying things out until like I just ask this question, like, why do I keep doing it? Why am I doing this? So I asked that question with me, keep doing it over and over again. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And obviously the one level answer, like, I just want to keep experiencing this. But on a deeper level, I came to this realization, I'm like, my life is so painful in this moment that I want to use this to escape my present reality. I want to use this to get into this place. I don't want to deal with all these things that are going on in my life. And the interesting thing with that, and I heard it from so many different teachers out there who facilitate plant medicine, it was like, that's just a guide, but the main thing to do is integration. And forcibly, I was forced to take a look at these things because I kept trying to do the psychedelics, but then the psychedelics started kicking my ass because it was like, oh, so you keep coming back and not doing your integration work. So we're gonna make every experience very painful for you, so that
Wow.
way you can realize it. Yeah. So like,
Okay.
yeah, it was nice. It was the nice ones, but then it started getting bad, like really bad.
Okay.
To to the point it was like, are you ready to do your work? Oh, you're not? Okay, we're gonna kick your ass some more. And like I had some dark experiences that I was like, okay, I'm done with. I can't do this. But I was forced to like get into that space of doing it. So then I got curious. I was like, how could I get into this space that I want to get into without taking plant medicine? What can I do for it? And when I asked that question, whenever we ask a question like that, universe always responds. So then I started to get interested in meditation. I got interested in meditation, yoga. I'm trying to think what else did I do. Meditation, yoga, Reiki, all these different things for trying to connect into this space. And I did it very forcibly. This is me like really going at it again, like I did with the plant medicine. And the harder I was trying to do it, the farther away it seemed like I was getting away from it. And, but then what happened to me in this one moment, it happened in a meditation moment. I just got to this point of like, I don't want to try this hard anymore. It can't be this hard to get into this space, man. Like I give up. It was like that part, like I give up. I surrender. I'm done. I give up. And then as soon as I said that, like I give up, I'm done, boom, this powerful, loving space encompassed me. And it was just like I was on a psychedelic again. All the visuals, all these things were going on. But then this insight came to me and it said to me, you're like a dog that was chasing his tail and not realizing that you're a dog chasing his tail. You're looking for something and chasing something that you already have. Just be in that. And then once I got that insight, I'm like, really? Like, are you serious? Like, I thought it was like so much hard work, but then for me, I discovered my essence, my soul, that connection. And from there, once I realized that point of that connection, I just been in that space continuously and it continues to expand. But then what I realized from it as well is even though I'm in that space, what's happening in the moment is things still come up. I was thinking like, oh, once I'm there, oh yeah, like I'm good. I'm good to go. And then life tells you, no, you're not. You still got some lessons to learn, buddy.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Yeah. So once I got over that, and it took me a little bit to get over that because I was like, why does this lesson keep happening? Why does this thing keep going on? Like, are you serious? And once I realized that there's infinite levels of expansion to get into, now for me it's just like a game. Oh, okay, something else is here. Cool. Let me sit with this. Let me be with this. But also for me, it's the spiritual practice, like my dedicated for spiritual practice that I do now for building my own muscles, my own spiritual muscles. So that way, when those inevitable things do pop up, which they do, I have the space and the repetition to be able to work through these things. But I realized that this journey is never going to stop. It continues on. And now I'm just on a ride for this.
Wow. I heard so many like amazing things inside of what you said. I'm just like, okay. Um, what a journey. Mm. So, what is your message? Like the reason why all of this is like being created, I felt really called I was like really being pulled into like masculine energy, masculine energy. I'd go into meditation. It's like divine masculine, 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 like the masculine awakening, you know. And I've been on like I've studied the twin flame journey, you know, so like that's where I think a lot of people kind of get educated. Or at least the people that I'm coming into contact with, I should say, are getting really educated about like divine masculine, divine feminine through like this twin flame journey, through this twin flame concept. Um, um, because I have been on the journey a little bit longer and just like studying through different modalities like yoga and shamanism and things like that. Like that concept for me has really expanded. But even though the concept has expanded, there's still this call that's very similar to what like a lot of twin flame people are talking about, which is the divine feminine kind of like um, uh, leading the light for the divine feminine, or I'm sorry, for the divine masculine. So for me, what that really meant was that within myself, within the men in my community, within the men in my life, that something was happening, you know, that something was happening, and maybe that there isn't a lot of support or guidance. um, and so very quickly, this was all kind of orchestrated. And you were somebody that I really, really, really wanted to have here because I love the way that you communicate. I love how you show up for yourself. I love how, you know, we've been in a couple of different spaces together where I've been able to see you shine. And it's absolutely phenomenal to me. So, leading into really what I'm hoping that this thing is going to be about is like, what's the wisdom? What's the insight? Like what is the message today that you have for us, that I feel is here?
Yeah. And thanks for asking that and sharing your reasoning behind creating this. And also it's an honor to be here to share about it. My message is really simple. And my message is if you want to resolve the conflict that you're having in your life externally, resolve the conflict that you're having internally in your life. We can fall for the notion that the war or the battles are happening outside of us. And obviously, there's validation for that. We can check the news out, we can see all these different things. But the real question is, how much have you taken a look at that conflict and battle that goes on inside of you? And whoever's listening, you know what I'm talking about. Those thoughts that come up, those beliefs that come up, those emotions that come up. And what we can do is try to find whatever way we can to numb those emotions, keep ourselves busy so that way we're not alone with our thoughts or with our emotions. Maybe even being codependent on people, substance, experiences to keep you feeling a certain way that you're looking to feel. And the suppression to me, and the example I like to use is think about it like this. You have a room and your room looks really clean all around, but there's a garbage bag. And this garbage bag, you keep filling it up with stuff and you throw it away in the closet so that way people don't see it. They just see a clean room going on. And that could be like on social media. A lot of people just show like, hey, look at me, I'm positive, that type of thing. But at home in the closet, there's that garbage bag filled up with those emotions that we suppress, those thoughts that we suppress, those beliefs you never really take a look at, and it just keeps piling up, keep piling up, keep piling up. And what starts to happen with that, with all that trash in there in the closet, there starts to be a little stench going on that you smell, starts to happen out the closet. Maybe spray some Febreze around, put some air freshener out there, or do whatever possible to distract that smell. But the more you start to put stuff in the closet, the door starts to shake a little bit because the trash is getting piled up. but then that stench is getting stronger. It's getting stronger. You need to do more things to like numb that down or to stop that stench from happening. And what life does to us in every moment is give us experiences to, hey, here's an experience you're getting triggered. I'm trying to help you to remove it. No, I don't want to deal with this right now. I want to go. I want to go away. And it's like this battle that's going on consistently. And not to mention this life, like I was saying with the triggers, is going to give you these opportunities, those trigger moments. But then we're still dealing with, we still have these things inside of us that we just keep trying to hold down until eventually, boom, the explosions happen. I've been there. I've been there in situations in my own life in which the volcano erupted because I wasn't addressing my shit. I wasn't being with my shit. I wasn't getting the support that I need to actually process these things. And a lot of times in these moments, we never had an opportunity to process these emotions in those moments that we were meant to process them. Maybe we've been told by somebody it's not that big of a deal, or hush up, you're too emotional, shut that down. And with the masculine standpoint, man up. Don't be a P word. I don't want to drop it on here.
Right.
You're a man, you're not supposed to have emotions. That's a woman trait, and pretty much becoming robotic, but then the explosions happen because of the suppression, and then it just pops out. So that's why I'm saying being able to resolve those conflicts going on within you, start to make more peace with yourself, start to take a look at those things, get the support to allow you a non-judgmental space, because the judgment that we receive from previous experiences is a potential fear that we have for expressing ourselves in a moment now, for that fear of judgment happening. And even on social media, there's a lot of judgment that happens too for people that express their emotions, express what they're going through. And being able to process this, work through it, and start to shift that and make the peace. The more peace you have inside of you, the less things outside of you are going to trigger things, because there's nothing inside of you that can get triggered by those moments no longer. So that's my message, I would say.
Yeah, I love that. It's the one thing that I can relate to, is that comment of, like, don't be a girl, like, don't be a girl about it. I feel like as a female, I'm like, wait a second, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not supposed to be a girl about it either, because in the context that it's being used, it's like, that's weakness, you
Yeah.
know and that is the context of it, like, that is weak, and you're supposed to be strong. And so the masculine energy that's residing inside of me, that's the echo of the masculine side of me. So the feminine within me is like, I have emotions, and then the masculine voice comes up inside of me and says, that's weak. That's weak, and we're not weak over here. So, like, you need to suppress whatever's going on, and you need to do forward movement. um yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because that dynamic nature that we all have of the doing and the being type
Yeah.
of thing. And you can see it in society of like what happens when it's over on the masculine energy, and then what can happen on over on the feminine energy. But then there's like a yin and a yang type of thing that can go on, and it's all about navigating that energy. And we were actually talking about this a couple weeks ago when I was just saying, like, the whole masculine and feminine thing, it could potentially be a trap of, okay, I'm a man, so how can I be more masculine? Or I'm a woman, so how can I connect to my divine feminine and be a goddess type of thing? When really, like, we have both natures in us.
Right.
It's like, does God go around and do you think God's asking, okay, how can I be more feminine now? Or how can I be more masculine now? Or and, and here we are now, all of us, but here we are, like, trying to, like, figure, okay, how can I be more masculine for you in this moment, or how can I be more feminine? Like, are you serious? Like, why don't you just WWGD? What will God do in this moment? Like, just ask that question and just be it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Through this lens, this perspective of like really understanding like the collectiveness, like the collective energy of like masculine, and
Yeah.
what does it mean for that masculine energy to be in balance, and what does it mean to be feminine, and you know, like the yin yang, we have the sun, we have the moon, we have heat, we have cool, we have, you know, like it's really talking about these two different spectrums, and how being and doing, right? Like, how can we harmonize? How can we be both separately, like see both separately, but bring them together to create unity inside of it, and how that reflects inside of nature, how that reflects inside of us. It can be very unique, because I do feel that we can get hyperactive or toxic. You know, like there can be hyperactivity inside of masculine energy, inside of feminine energy. There could be hypo energy inside of it, which would teeter us back and forth. You know,
Yeah.
and from like there are a lot of words and belief systems that are coming up in both masculine consciousness and feminine consciousness that is deep seated inside of all of us, like toxic
Mm-hmm.
stuff, you know, like do, you got to go, you got to work hard. If you're not working hard, you're not worthy. Like, what is this? You know, you got to do more, you got to be more, you got to do all this stuff. And then on the opposite end of like, what I find is that there's also this like toxic beingness, right? Like, how can I be more? Like, how can I get more into my spirituality? How can I dive deeper into it? Like, it can get like super hyperactive as well. So I guess what I'm trying to say as I talk in my circles and then get to the point, it's like the only way to really figure out how to balance these things is to go into it, like really understanding the intention of what you're doing, like really understanding the intention of how you're living, and noticing when things feel out of balance, to be able to like really sit down and go inward and ask yourself some deep questions, on how to bring balance, because ultimately, you know, you and I both know like all of the answers come from within, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
what do I need to do? I mean, you can ask, and getting the support you need. Absolutely. Like there have been so many times where I needed somebody to just talk and like bounce these ideas off of, so that way they could reverb back to me what I'm saying. Cause sometimes it's hard whenever we collect all the trash. Like when the trash gets to be too much, it's like, I have to sort all of this out, like the plastics in here and the cardboard's in here. Like, how can I really sort all of this and organize it? And to have some support in that is totally normal and necessary. But again, even though you have somebody holding space for you, the answers are still coming from you, right? The ideas, the insight, the wisdom is still coming from within, which is really neat. And I feel like that is a huge message that I wish everybody knew, is like how truly wise, how much wisdom, knowledge, knowing really exists within us, if we would just give ourselves the space to go in to whatever is bothering us, whatever feels heavy, whatever is jumbled. Yeah.
Yeah. And beautiful way of saying that, because in those trashes is where the treasures are within us, and those unique tools that we have from our own experiences, because we all are powerful. We all have our own unique gifts and unique talents that are ready to be birthed into the world. And like you said, going within, taking a look at those things, having that space with someone to just express yourself and be able to work through it. And yeah, the answers are inside each and every one of us. And that support that we get can help us to realize that. Well, the proper support, not someone telling you the answers or like,
Right.
this is what this is, but someone who can hold that space to allow you to process your information and get your answer that you're seeking. But obviously, holding a space with a great spiritual teacher, a great guru, they'll ask those questions that get you to inquire more and to get there as well. Like a great guide. And it's just like asking, for me, I feel like having those conversations is pretty much having a conversation with God directly in like this human existence of getting the answer from God directly by just having a conversation with somebody who's also connected to that energy.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel that, is there a place, is there anything that people can do to support others in this journey? Like, do you have any tools or anything that you think would help people be able to really carry out this concept that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's being that space of love for the person, but seeing that person as whole and complete as well, and allow the person to talk, allow the person to express themselves. Usually that's what we're all looking for, just to be able to express ourselves in a space, not feel we're going to be judged, not feel we're going to be shamed or anything, but to be heard, to be seen, and to continue to be loved no matter what we're expressing in the moment. Because usually once we're able to express what's going on inside of us, now we have our awareness to it, and we can be able to process it, and we can be able to move forward with it. And usually that's what happens. It's pretty cool because like when I'm having a coaching conversation with someone, I just allow that space to happen. They'll just talk about what's going on, but then as they're saying it, the answer comes up for them that they came seeking for. And I'm like, that's all you.
Yeah. 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 Whenever I got a coach, that was like one of the most powerful experiences of my life, because it was just like, I'm just gonna listen to you, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions. And then
Yeah,
like the questions, like it's about asking the right questions, you know?
yeah,
And when you have somebody that's holding space, that's actively listening, and is just like coming at it from a place of like curiosity and yeah, in the words of Stephen, like possibility, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Like so many miracles, so many cool things can happen. So I love that.
yeah,
The next question I just feel like asking is like, you know, you touched on a little bit like conform, not like putting adjusting, like morphing yourself in order to like be cool, to like fit in. Like so what has stepping into your authenticity meant for you? Like, what does authenticity mean to you? What's your insight on that?
yeah. For me, it's being yourself how you are right now, and authentically accepting yourself for how you are right now, and moving in that way. And just for me, I'm having fun. Like I got this unique championship belt on and things like that. I got a unicorn shirt on. Like, it's just me. I'm just being me, and it's unapologetically being me. But I'm not forcing me on anyone. But it's just who I am. But it helps to give other people permission to be more themselves as well. But that's pretty much what it is. I'm just being natural. It's more freeing, and it's less effort to just be who I am, as opposed to let me be this certain way to get the approval of others or get the acceptance of others and things like that. And even in my relationship now, I'm just showing, I'm like, here's who I am. I'm doing my work of integrating more of my beingness as well, because I'm infinite, I'm always expanding, but it's different in a different space of me accepting myself and having this relationship with myself and acceptance that it translates to everything else. And obviously, the right people show up for you when you're being yourself, as opposed to you're trying to be something you're not. People who are going to show up is going to be in that space as well, but obviously they're going to help you to try to get. Oh,
You're frozen.
there we
There
go.
you are.
Let's see. The audio went away.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Let me log on.
A little break, everyone. So, we'll wait for Dell to hop back on. Authenticity. It is difficult, right? Because it's not just the things that we know about ourselves, that we've seen in ourselves. It's also the things that maybe we don't like about ourselves, the things that we want to hide as well, you know? Like maybe here's Dell. We're going to get him right back in. There we are.
Experienced some universal technical difficulties.
uh, but yeah, you were just speaking on just like being yourself, like showing up and unapologetically.
Yeah. And also the more you connect in that space, so deepening that relationship with God or the higher power you're understanding, and the more you can really integrate just how perfect you are in the image of that higher power you're understanding, and just how much that higher power you're understanding loves you as you are. Because if it didn't, it wouldn't have created you the way that it created you. And just building that relationship there and having those conversations, and no matter what, this higher power is like, I love you no matter what. I love you as who you are. I'm infinitely patient with you. You can learn the lessons many times you want to, and I will still love you. I'll never beat you down, or I would never judge you. I'm just here to love. And obviously, with the religious background that I had, which I was able to reintegrate into my life, but the portion of God judges you, God is fearful, God enforces wrath on you, and all these other things, and it just made me feel like God itself from that form is a narcissist. Like, are you serious? Like, I got in trouble for asking this one time, but I was like, how can an unconditional loving being have conditions to receive his love? Like, it doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah. I had the same question for a long time.
Yeah.
I would get so irritated. I'm like, but why are you getting irritated? Like, it's a legitimate question. Like, am I crazy?
It is. It really is. It's like, it's contradictions. Lots of contradictions. Like, I love you, but don't do this, or I'm going to make you burn for eternity.
Right. It's intense.
Yeah. It really is. It really is when you think about it. And I definitely healed from those traumas of being a kid and believing those things and being very afraid of those things happening to me. But it's like, if it was really those expectations going on, I feel like we all would be in hell together because no one will live up to those expectations.
Right. Wow. So many jewels and gems in this, and I'm just trying to think, like, yeah. Sometimes silence is just like so pure, you know? And it's like there isn't anything to say. Like, there's just need to digest like what has already been shared, like the wisdom that's been shared.
Yeah. But also, like, just the collective of us right now, we all collectively are going through our healing journey. And obviously, with the external things, like I mentioned, like the pandemic and what is it, the election thing going on, the vax versus the unvax type of things, it's a healing opportunity for all of us to be able to come into a space together of acceptance. But obviously, when events like this happens, it reflects what's going on inside of us. So if we're having a lot of judgment for ourselves, we're going to judge everything that's going on. We got a lot of bitterness within us. We're going to feel a lot of bitterness. And also, it's just these battles of people who trying to say that I'm right, you're wrong type of thing. And what if we can be in a space in which everyone is right?
Yeah.
and we all can learn something from each other. And like for me, that's what helped me so much to propel more so now. I mean, coming to this space is realizing like I am a student, I'm also a teacher at the same time. There's always something that I can teach, but there's always something I can learn in every moment. And I've been learning so much by just being in that space with everyone I interact with. And it's been pretty powerful. And I feel like for us together to really become, because a lot of people say they want the world peace to happen, but it's like, okay, you want to have the world peace, be peaceful. If we all could be more peaceful, there'd be more world peace. If we all could be more accepting, everyone could be accepted more. If we could be love, there'd be more love. It's like be what you're looking to experience in your reality, but also bring that within you with what's going on within you.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you say that, I would love to just expand a little bit on it, which is like, okay, I want love. I want self-love, right? Like I want to love myself. I want more love in my life. And then you try to, you're trying to love yourself. You're trying to do it. And then all of a sudden you're met with the reality of maybe how much not love you have, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh my gosh, this journey is so hard. Like I just want to love myself. Darn it. I just like, why can't I love myself? Like, whoa. Like, let's take a step back. Like, would love communicate that way to you? Or would love say, let's take a deep breath? Like it's okay to get frustrated sometimes. Like, let's dive into whenever we are stepping into the journey of being, whatever it is, being peace, being love, we're also asking ourselves to meet the opposite of it or to meet whatever is present so that we can work through it to get there. So, for anybody that is on the self love journey, know that love sounds nice. Self love sounds so nice. But the journey there requires a nice hard look at the programmings that have been set that maybe are not that. So sometimes we have to look at all that is not love before we can truly step into and embody and be what love is. And that is okay. It is tough and it is challenging, but it is so worth it, because when you are able to get that level of insight in your own self within you, then when you come into contact with other people, you're also going to be able to provide that same level of understanding and knowledge and compassion, because you've done it. You've done the work. You've seen it firsthand. You were brave enough and courageous enough to dive in to experience that yourself. So, sometimes I just like to make sure everyone knows that like the self-love journey isn't all love and rainbows and happiness. It isn't about putting on a smile whenever you don't feel like it. It's not about toxic positivity. It's really about stepping into the authentic self, like being real with what is present and seeking and searching and focusing and concentrating on how love would present, would be, would speak, would listen inside of all spaces, even the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are not as ease, that don't come with so much ease or effortlessness. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And you're in a great point, because the fact of not even just in, I wouldn't say not just in spiritual community, but also in religious community as well, that goes on in which evil, good, this is not good, this is bad. These thoughts and these beliefs, these emotions are evil, it's demonic, it's the devil. And then on the spiritual aspects of stuff, high vibe and low vibe.
Right.
And putting that on people, oh, this person is a low vibration, or I'm having this low vibrational thought, or whatever it may be, and putting these notions on it of like shaming it and shutting it away type of thing. Like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. And you see a lot of people out there, high vibes only, positive vibes only type of thing, and putting these notions on what is positive and what is negative, what is high vibe and what is low vibe. And it brings me back to what I was saying before, like with God, with God with the whole masculine feminine thing, but this guy like, oh, this thing is low vibe, like or this thing is evil, or this thing's like that. No, it's like it's all love. It's all love. And from my own experiences, like when you're able to like start to love those things that society tells you that is wrong to feel that way or it's horrible and everything else, you open to a new floodgate of love for yourself. Because if you're able to start loving those parts of yourself, and I feel like, I guess that's what's called like the shadow work or whatever, all the different terminology that they have for it. But,
Right.
but pretty much when you're able to love those parts of yourself that you threw away in the closet with the trash, but it helps you to get into a deeper space of self-love for yourself. And you can be able to hold space for the other people instead of calling them a low vibration or evil or whatever it is. It's like, oh, this person just needs some more love. And they need to receive more love, need to be more love, but also that compassion, like, wow, like I've been there before. So I totally understand what this person is dealing with and how they're feeling and stuff like that. Obviously they have their own journey and things like that, but it's like the essence of it, I feel exactly what you're going through right now, because I've been through that type of thing or whatever experience it may be. But that self-love, like you said, in the journey, it's not always like, "Ooh, I'm so in love with myself."
Right.
Woo, this I am loving myself or whatever it is. It's like when those moments come up when you get upset, some moments you might just wake up and you just feel some type of way. Some emotions. You may feel sad, you may feel angry, you may have an experience of feeling a little bit depressed, or feel a little bit down on yourself. Those are the nuggets to see like how deep is your love, which is that song I always love. How deep is your love?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it allows you to go into that pool because love is infinite. And being able to love even those moments, they actually dissipate pretty quickly once you're able to just love it. They just want some love. There's a part of you that just wants some love. Give it some love. And I said it before to somebody, I'm like, the deepest rejection that we experience in our life is not from anyone else. It's not from any experiences. The deepest rejection that we receive is when we reject ourselves in those moments and judging ourselves and putting the labels on it as wrong or as horrible. Like, you're saying that to yourself. No wonder you're feeling even worse. Like, you're beating yourself up. Imagine what happens if you can love those portions of you and love those parts of you that's been yearning for love from whatever experience it never got that love, and it's been just yearning for you. It's been yearning for God. You are God. It's yearning for you to give it love.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, like there's a part of me that like really doesn't like to be angry. Like I don't
Oh,
like it. I don't enjoy it. Like I've seen the destruction that anger can cause. And so like I really try to avoid anger. But like it's there. When it's there, it's there. And
yeah.
everybody can see it. It doesn't matter like how much I try to shove it in the trash bag and into the closet. Like everybody can just feel it.
Yeah.
And I've like gotten to the point where even though like my frustration or like that vibration of like frustration or irritability or defensiveness, or
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah.
many words like to describe like these different things, right? But as soon as even though they make other people uncomfortable, it wasn't until I was able to let everybody know like it's okay for me to be frustrated. Like I'm not gonna, I'm fine, I'm just frustrated, I'm gonna move through it. It's gonna give me a couple of hours, if even,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be great that other people start to be able to witness anger and see what anger can actually do, what frustration can actually do, which is it passion? Is it revealing to me what I'm passionate about?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it revealing to me where boundaries are being crossed? Is it revealing to me where there is disharmony or imbalances in my life? Like there's so much wisdom and goodness and deliciousness that like comes with some of these feelings or experiences that we have labeled as bad or too much or too heavy. um
Yeah.
and like what how loving and kind of us to just allow it to come up, just allow it to be, knowing that there's something good inside of it. You know, like
Yeah.
there is something good. There is something good here. Let's just allow it to happen and see what goodness comes up. Like that is always so fun to like
Yeah.
explore. And I always like when I see the yin and the yang together, like the one side that's dark, you know, it's all dark, but then there's that spot of white in it, that spot of pure light in it, and it's like there's
Hmm.
always something there, you know. And just like in the goodness, right, even in the goodness, even in the lightness, there's still always a little shadow that's in there as well, you know. But because we have so much identified with like good and bad and like what that means, we always, I feel like we're always trying to grasp on to like the good, like no, I only want to see the good, like it all
Yeah.
has to be good, right? And then we're like crumbling apart whenever we have to let go of the goodness. But it's like let go of it, let whatever else come in, and then let that go too, and then let that go, and then let that go, and just like be in the infinite flow
Yeah.
of harmony, you know,
Yeah.
of completeness, of wholeness, of yeah. It's
Yeah.
challenging though. Like speaking about it, it sounds nice, but when you're thrust into the
Oh
experience,
yeah.
it can be so, so much.
Yeah. That's why we're here having
Right.
this human experience, because we have elected to go through it in this way. But as you were mentioning, I was just thinking about like a tree and nature. You don't see a tree saying, I want to hold on to my leaves. I just want to hold on to them. I don't want to hold on to them. No, it just flows. It allows it to go because it knows that the leaves are going to come right back up again. But then by it letting go, the leaves are going back into the ground. It's helping out to keep the flow of nature happening. It's doing its part. And I truly believe that with us as well. Like trying to grasp onto this happiness that we're feeling. And I hear people say all the time, like, I want to keep this feeling forever. And like, it's like, you're not going to be able to.
Right. Right.
Let it go. But the cool thing about it is the more you let it go, it comes back even more deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Dal. So talk to the people. How can they how can they get a hold of you? Like what's your situation? You do coaching? Like tell us.
Yeah,
Tell us how
sure.
we get a hold of you.
Sure. So I have a podcast with my wife as well called Our Daily Magic. So you can search that on Facebook. It's Our Daily Magic, one word. So I do a podcast there. We actually have coaching groups that we're doing every Thursday and Sunday nights. One's on business alchemy, and then the other one is on soul alchemy. And then for myself, I do one-on-one coaching. You can find me on True Essence Connection, one word.com, www.trueessenceconnection.com. You can see information on there. You can follow me on TikTok. I'm doing TikTok now, which is pretty fun. But I have all my information. If you go on trueessenceconnection.com, all my links to find me are on there on the website.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna put this banner up so that way they can see this. Is that right?
Yes.
Connection.com?
Yep.
Connection.com. All right.
And
So
I'm about to say
yeah,
also they can just email me, and it's Dell@trueessenceconnection.com as well. That's my email.
perfect. Perfect. So everyone go check out Dal. We've been connected for what, like a year now or so, maybe. I don't know.
No,
Time doesn't
it's a
exist.
couple years.
Years.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was on. I got to be on our Daily Magic podcast with
yeah,
Del and Kai. They are such wonderful, wonderful, wonderful human beings, and they are always sharing so much wisdom. They're always gathering people to talk, to share their stories. So please do not miss out on getting in with their network, with their group, and Yeah. And Dow, thank you so much. Like, thank you so much for being here. Like,
Yeah.
I knew that there was just going to be so much in here for all of the people that I know that are listening. And thank you for all of the work that you're doing for yourself.
Yeah.
And it is making such a huge difference in the collective and in all of the people that you're coming into contact with. So, like, I honor you, I see you, and tell Kai I said hi.
Will do. Thank you. And same to you as well. Let's continue to cause those cosmic ripples in the cosmic ocean.
Yeah, we're doing it. Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. It is so great. This is week 2. We have 2 more weeks left. And please share this with somebody that you love. There are a lot of great messages in here. If you have any comments, questions, drop them down in whatever form that you are in. It's always so great to hear from all of you, and the things that you can relate to, and maybe some of the things that maybe you can't. Like, let's have these conversations. Let's open up here. So thank you all so much. And it is such a great day to be alive and to show these conversations.
Yeah.
Peace and love, everyone.